Howdy folks, welcome back to Orange Cactus Productions. My name is Andre and this is Coal Country. We are going to be taking a short coal train powered by some old GE U-boats down the line. Going to be a pretty quick scenario. Nothing of any major event really happens here. Just thought I'd bring you guys a nice little run. There is some uphill and downhill grades, so that'll be interesting, and a lot of dynamic brake working. A lot of throttling up and down, all that good stuff. So we've got a total of 5 units. We've got 3 up front, and then we've got a helper, which I will shift to in just a minute here, just to show you. The lead is actually a 4-axle unit, while the trailing is a 6-axle, so that's pretty interesting. But hey, they get the job done. So we're going to be going to the Manor branch line, and we're going to stop there. And there we've got our 6-axle rear helper. We only have 1 helper, but it's not that big of a train, so I'm not surprised. The camera really glitches there as it goes back and forth, so I apologize for that. But I love the sound of these old U-boats, that 4-stroke chugging that GE is known for. That's why I titled this video, GE Chugging Down the Line. It's pretty cool. So I start off relatively slow here, and I want to make sure that I get the tail end of the train onto the main line as fast as possible. But I don't want to speed. And you can see on the left-hand side here, we've got some helpers on the siding, some high hood helpers. For the longest time, I didn't know that GE made high hoods, but yeah, they did. I think Southern was the only railway that actually bought them, so Norfolk Southern inherited the ones from the Southern when they merged with Norfolk Western and a few other railroads to become Norfolk Southern. The current Norfolk Southern. There was an original Norfolk Southern that was a completely separate railroad, but that also got absorbed into the modern Norfolk Southern as well. So, but Norfolk Southern is probably the most dominant Class 1 railroad in Pennsylvania. Its predecessor was Conrail, before that Penn Central, and before that the Pennsylvania Railroad. So it pretty much runs in all those territories, I should say. And this section of railroad used to be a part of the Monongahela Railroad, but it got absorbed by Conrail, and then Conrail got absorbed by Norfolk Southern, and, well, that's that. Pretty interesting facts for you all here. Anyways, we are coming up on our first break, and I will see you in just a minute. Okay, we're back, and here we're on a section of the line where we're going downhill. So I'm having to work some of the dynamic brakes. As you can see, the train is accelerating at a pretty good pace downhill, so I'm going to have to really watch what I'm doing here. Make sure the train doesn't get away from me, although it does a couple of times because I sort of lose focus, as is easy to do. But this is a heavy train. This is a coal train. I didn't actually get the weight of it because they don't give you the statistics of that when you start the scenarios, unfortunately, so oh well. But this section is mostly downhill. There's about one solid section where it's a good 1% grade uphill, and then the rest is a good 1% grade downhill. It fluctuates, but it's mostly downhill. And as I've mentioned in other videos before, I'm not a big fan of downhill. of just riding the dynamic brakes. I feel like I like being on the throttle and just hearing the engines work. But hey, it's a part of railroading. What goes up must come down, as the saying goes. So I hope everybody is doing well. I've been doing okay. Things have been a little bit interesting, to say the least, this year. The good news is I just got the Norfolk Southern N line. There's the Steam Summer Sale, and so I'll try to make some videos on that. Actually, that's where my intro came from, so technically I've already made a video on that. I don't know what I'm thinking, but it's just been a crazy year. Lots of stuff has happened, and just trying to stay focused on this wonderful train sim hobby and just rail fanning in general, trying to get out when the weather cooperates and get some nice train shots. You can see I'm slowing down tremendously here. I don't remember why. I think the grade evens out, and so I need to get back on the throttle. Oh yeah, that's what happened. The grade sort of evened out and flattened out, so I need to get back on the throttle and just get her going. But yeah, once the weather cooperates, I want to get out and get some more shots of, live trains. I've got some stuff on Instagram from my visit to the Strasburg Railroad. That was fun. But I need to go out and get some Norfolk Southern branch line action. And maybe some Amtrak action. There's a couple places I can go in my area to get some good footage. Pennsylvania is just a great state for railroading in general. So hopefully I can bring you guys some more live action stuff. And there I zoom in on that's the old Norfolk Southern logo. Not from the original, but from the Prancing Horse era, before they incorporated the horse head into the logos. It was just a bunch of bars, NS and Norfolk Southern. The Prancing Horse was on usually the nose and the tail. It was a pretty cool design. I just wish they had more color variation, which they sort of do now with some of the AC to DC conversion locomotives. Or it could be DC to AC. I can't remember. It's one of those. And they've got those special, really awesome paint schemes. You have to look up Norfolk Southern ES44's DC to AC conversions, because they are really cool looking units. I wish they would do that for their general units, but gotta stay with that traditional black and some of the heritage units, I guess. So and here we transition, and I'm not even going to cut for this, but we transition over towards the end of the line. Like I said, this is going to be a short run, so you can see it's pretty steeply downhill, so I'm going to have to brake, but we're coming up on where we're going to stop. Near this this mine / quarry. I'm not sure which it is, but trust me, the route is actually a lot longer, but I cut out a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. But we gotta position the train just right. The only downside here is I'm gonna end up blocking a crossing. But that's okay. I figure, you know what? It happens. But these GEs perform their tasks really well. I was actually very surprised at how well the dynamic brakes worked, how well the throttle worked and was responsive. Had a couple instances of wheel slip, forgot to turn the sand off after I went upgrade, so I wasted a lot of sand. Not that I was in any danger of running out, but still, it's more so the principle of I didn't like wasting it. I don't like wasting stuff. The older I get, the less I want to waste things. It's kind of strange. I'm only 28 as of the recording of this video, and I'm already like, I don't want to throw food away, you know, that I don't eat, or I don't want to throw this perfectly good thing away. I don't like waste. It's weird because I never was that way until, I think, till I hit my 20s. My mid to late 20s. Which I'm still in my late 20s as of the recording of this video. So, but I hope everybody's enjoyed these videos. I try to bring you as many as possible. And like I said, there's going to be more coming with the end line. And hopefully I'll be able to do some longer ones. But this one was just a nice short run to just showcase the new GEs. And here's the crossing I end up blocking. The front end of the train clears it, but the midsection of the train will end up blocking it. Because our braking point is just a few feet over the crossing. So, start going up and down with the throttle here, just to try to get the train where I want it. And then I believe I switched the camera over to the rear unit just to see where that portion of the train is. Because I can sort of tell by that chart, but I'd like to see it, you know, kind of in live action. Relatively speaking. This isn't real life, this is a game. Or a simulator. So just keeping that consistent 12 miles an hour. I figure that's a good point. And we can also see an oncoming train coming on the secondary track. And I don't think... Oh, yeah, that's right. I accidentally put it into emergency. I went the wrong direction with the brake lever. Oops. Got some penalties for that. The one thing I didn't like about this scenario was everything was powered by GEs, and that's not incredibly realistic even for the era they're trying to depict. You would have had a mixture of SD40s, SD60s, SD70s, even some SD50s perhaps. Just a whole bunch of Conrail power that they would have inherited. Not just GEs, but I think it was easier when creating the scenarios to just kind of copy-paste. And so that's what they did. All the coal trains had GEs. And that's the scenario complete. Didn't do too bad, although you'll see once I bring up the final score, I didn't get any points, and I think that's because it's not a career scenario, I don't think. So...